is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I've got James Hyslop with me all the way from Toronto. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You are the president and executive producer of Alibi Entertainment, Inc., and you have produced a show. This is your second season, actually, for TVO. So let's talk about it. It is called Crossroads, Beyond Boom and Bust. You have been here in Smith Falls, but this is season 2, and you're featuring Perth.
Yes. Yeah, the premise of the show was we asked ourselves a very simple question. What happens to a small town when the reason it exists doesn't exist? And once we started digging a little deeper and trying to understand a lot of the small and medium-sized towns throughout the province, we realized that many of these towns have boom and bust cycles. And the question then I guess the ultimate premise or the hypothesis of the series, of the documentary series, is what happens when the boom happens, the bust happens. What happens beyond that? Do they just continue the cycle with replacing industries with different industries? Do certain things go out of fashion, come into fashion? So what happens to these towns, and how do these towns meet that challenge, and how do they continue to grow, or in some unfortunate cases, how do they die?
And you are featuring Perth on this season, your season 2 as well too. So how did you pick Perth?
We picked Perth because it actually has a really interesting start. A lot of towns are started because they're on a transportation hub. Or they're on a historical, either part of the fur trade or an indigenous trade route. But Perth was created after the War of 1812 as a land opportunity for veterans. And veterans were given plots of land, and they had to clear it and become sort of an agrarian center. So there's the Tay River. It's close to a lake, but it didn't really have any reason to exist other than it was land that they could give to veterans of the War of 1812. So it had a very unique founding. It didn't have a particular logistical or historical reason other than there was a lot of land.
Okay. Now I saw the trailer for this too. How long is the segment on each town?
Each town's approximately, well, they're hour-long TV shows.
Okay.
So a television hour is just under around 50 minutes.
Okay. Now I saw the trailer too, and you've got some people from Perth featured in it. I saw Brent McLaren on it, Susan Code, she's a local historian. Cassie Boulay was on it, Justin Gallant, Judy Brown, the mayor, is on it too. So how long does it take you to put all these together? That's a lot of interviews, and I only saw 3 minutes of it.
That's a good question. I mean, as a rule of thumb, most of these shows are about 6 days of filming. Wow. So in order to get to the 6 days of filming, there's probably upwards of 4 to 5 weeks of research, of interviews, of working with historians and archivists, searching local media sources to help build the story. So we start with researchers and story producers at the beginning of the process, and we look at literally every small town in Ontario, or medium-sized town. I think we kind of cut it off at a city. So it's and then to edit it's another 4 weeks of editorial to get to the cut, and then another 3 weeks to finish it. So it's the whole series is a year.
Okay. Perth, much like Smith Falls as well too, we thrive so much better in the summertime. We're such a summer season type. Cottages are around. There's people traveling through on the rivers and everything like that too. So yeah, we do so well in the summertime, and yeah, we're a little bit quiet in the wintertime, but we make up for it.
Well, it's amazing. If I recall, the population of Perth is 6,000, and I might have been the mayor or somebody said that, that sign never changes. The population of Perth stays at 6,000. However, in the summer, it goes up to 36,000 with cottagers and tourists. And so it is, and one of the interesting things I thought about that occurred to me about the people of Perth is, a lot of small resort or cottage towns, there tends to be a little bit of a resentment when the cottagers come in, or the summer boom. What was remarkable about Perth is that they really looked forward to it. It was something that brought the town, a new sense of energy. So they were embracing the summertime residents versus some of the towns are there's some pushback to the interlopers from the city.
Absolutely, and we plan a lot of our events and activities and festivals around knowing we're going to have that many more people come to our towns as well too.
Yeah, no, Perth is really, and I mean, it is. I think one of the remarkable things in the story of Perth and the boom and the bust or the challenge that the town has is, you know, uh, make haste slowly, I think is the unofficial slogan of the town. So how do you preserve, the beauty and the simplicity and the bucolic nature of the community when it gets a massive influx of people? And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that they have is responding to that so that it's sustainable throughout the winter and throughout the sort of quieter non-tourist months, but being able to support sort of the summer crowd or the summer residents. So it's and of course I think in one of the things we highlight in our documentary film is the challenge that housing presents.
Yes.
For the residents of Perth, not the visitors. And that one of the interviews said, he came from Montreal, and he and his partner thought they were going to be able to, save some money by going to a small town in Ontario versus a cosmopolitan city like Montreal. And quite the opposite. In fact, housing is, I think, one of the greatest single challenges that Perth has in order to bring people in to do the jobs that support the various industries, both large and small shops, but having somewhere for them to live. And as you know, Perth has got that really unique geographic positioning. It's, an hour from Kingston, an hour from Ottawa. So they're working very hard not to become a bedroom community of either city, but
Right.
still to retain its unique identity as Perth.
Absolutely, yeah. The bedroom communities, they're so much different on the weekends when everybody's home versus
Right.
Monday to Friday, they're all gone to work into the big cities. Absolutely.
Right. And I think the mayor has got some unique challenges, which one of the great things about everybody in Perth that we interviewed was that nobody had the quote their head in the sand or was sort of ignoring the changes. The challenge they have is how do we embrace the changes without changing who we are?
Yeah.
And the reason people come there to begin with is because of the beautiful. The town's beautiful. The Tay River is gorgeous. It's like I said, it's very idyllic. Everybody's very friendly, and and I think the challenge that they are facing, and I think in a really good way dealing with, is evolving and continue to grow without losing the thing or the reason that people want to come there,
Absolutely.
and the reason they want to be there. And I thought that make haste slowly was a wonderful. A bit of a paradox for sure, but something that I think that they want to preserve that slow evolution versus radical change. And like for example, the no big box stores. There's no
Right.
big strip malls. It's they're trying to keep the sense of community because it is originally or most recently, it was a very much a retirement community where it was, the pace of life was a little bit slower. The median age was a little bit higher, and it's had this influx of young artisanal, creative, and entrepreneur class that are coming there to try and build a unique life of their own. That they don't want to live in a large, busy city. They like the pace, the fact that they know their neighbors, they know the kids in the kids in the schools know each other.
Right.
So it is a town in a transition, albeit a very slow and I would say a very as best you can manage that. I think the town and the council certainly appear to be managing it in a way that will ensure the reason Perth is such a wonderful place to live and work and exist. They ensure that continues.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful, beautiful town for sure, for sure. Now, where do we watch your show?
So it's on TVO,
Mm-hmm.
and it was part of the marathon. And I'm just every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And the first one will be tonight. The Perth episode airs April 16th at 9 p.m.
April 16th. Okay, because you've done 6 towns.
6, yeah. Every
6.
season is 6 towns.
Okay, and sorry, April 16th is Perth?
Is Perth, yes.
Perth, awesome, awesome. And that's TVO. Now, can you look at this on YouTube as well?
So yeah, so it's available obviously on TVO. And you can get it on their website. It's watchable and downloadable on tvo.org. And as well, it will be on various social media applications as well.
All right, all right. Now, you're the president and executive director or executive producer of Alibi Entertainment. Now, what is that? What is that? Because this isn't probably the only thing you do.
No, we're a small, medium, I guess, independent Canadian television production company. So we do a wide variety of projects. Most recently, we did a feature film called Soft, which premiered at TIFF. And then we do a wide variety of shows. We're just about to launch a comedy series on Crave called Made for Television with Bowman Martinez-Reed. We also do blue chip documentaries for nature of things. So whether it's pyramids or the Titanic. And we also make a wide variety of lifestyle shows. We have a show called Carnival Eats that is on Food Network. We're shooting our 11th season right now. So we've done about 400 or 500 hours of television over the past 10 years. So we call ourselves a general entertainment production company with that we make shows we like to watch. I guess is probably our motto. So we've got a fairly our staff are fairly diverse in terms of age and background and experience. So we try to make shows that we want to make, that we think we would like to watch, and at some point I will make a show that my kids want to watch. Not yet, but soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you made a show that we want to watch for sure, and it's Crossroads Beyond Boom and Bust, and it's featuring Perth, and that's going to be on April 16th. You'll be able to air. That's going to be aired on TVO on April 16th, so we'll be able to watch it then.
Yeah, please watch it. We're very proud of the series, and we think it's there are stories. Even people in Perth might be surprised by some of the things that are discussed, but certainly people in the rest of Ontario will be surprised and hopefully pleased and happy with discovering what an amazing, diverse, interesting province Ontario is.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for spending time in Perth, and thank you for spending time in Smith Falls as well, too.
Well, thank you very much for the interview. It's been awesome, and thank you for paying attention to our show.
Excellent, excellent. Once again, I've got James Hyslop. You're the executive producer of Crossroads Beyond Boom and Bust, featuring Perth on April 16th on TVO. Thanks for joining us all the way from Toronto today.